What's up, everybody? Welcome to my extremely sophisticated, charming, mature, politically correct Q&A. Of course not. Of course fucking not! Don't glitch out on me, song. Don't skip. Don't jump. Don't skip out on me like the fucking game. It even shows the names of the composers. This version that I downloaded. Kenichi Tsuchiya, Eisu Keseki, Tsushi Kitajo. 3 composers, 3 people made the fabulous soundtrack of Grow Lancer 6, Precarious World that I've been currently playing on the PlayStation 2. And I may have a rant. I may or may not have a rant about this game. We have a versus episode today. Today's versus episode. Ignore that. Today's versus episode is really fucking good. I think a lot of you won't be able to decide, but this is also one of those episodes where I already made my decision long ago. I was like, this big versus this. Obviously, this is gonna win. But I do have a lot to say about both games. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you will struggle to decide which one is truly the better game. And I was just thinking about the matches of these games. I mean, I spent part of the night, last night, thinking about what about this versus what? Or this versus what? And I was like, damn, this versus everything? No, this versus everything? No. So what about each other? And there you go. So, I can't see the chat. I can't see the chat. Give me a moment. I imagine a lot of people are gonna be asking about fucking Reinatis and about the PlayStation 5 Pro price, which is a sensation because Sony has once again shot themselves in the fucking knee. They fucked it up. They know they fucked it up, and I don't think they give a shit. They do not give a rat's ass. I can see the chat now. There you are, people, and already 2 questions about the PlayStation 5 Pro. What's going on here? How about this? Is it dirty? Right, so, I like to... I think that's better. Right, so, Sony has become one of the worst video game companies of all time. Specifically the PlayStation branch. I think it's a company that... It was cool, it was awesome, it was technical... It was complex. It tried always to be the best of the best. Always the king of hardware and even software. Anyway, I'm not going to praise Sony or the PlayStation company because I may be a bit biased. I know I am. Every company has its flaws. Nintendo is just as awesome. Xbox, I'm not really a fan, but it's just as awesome as well. You know, every company has their own ups and downs. There are great things and bad things about them, you know. But I do tend to give a preference to PlayStation because I'm a PlayStation guy. Most of my favorite consoles are PlayStation. Even though I didn't grow up with PlayStation consoles, I grew up with Nintendo consoles. Since I started playing RPGs, since I got my PlayStation 1, you know, I fell in love with the console and I fall in love with every single PlayStation console. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe not 5 anymore, but PSP and PS Vita. You know, all those 6 consoles, you know, are in my top 10 favorite video game consoles of all time. All 6 of them. So, yeah, it's kind of hard for me not to defend Sony. However, you know, for the past few years, since the PlayStation 5 came out, they have done nothing but disappoint me. This is a company that I no longer have any respect for. When they announced the PlayStation 5, the one thing that I noticed first was the retro compatibility with PlayStation 4, and that was fucking awesome. That was like my highlight. That was like, the PS5 is gonna be retro compatible with PS4. Any disc, any game, you know, and I was like, that blew me away. But then I looked at the price. And then I looked at the hard drive, which was like what is it, like 1 terabyte? And I was like, okay, 1 terabyte is fine. But unfortunately, a lot of AAA games are like 50 goddamn gigabytes, you know, or more. And they're constantly updating. There's like, oh, day 1 patch, week 1 patch, another patch after 1 month, another fucking update, 10 updates per year. So imagine you end up getting more patches and updates than fucking games. And then the price, right? It was like, oh, retro compatible with PS4, but it's going to cost $600. So that was like 4 years ago, right? So okay, just gonna have to wait until they release some kind of Pro. Another good thing they did was the digital console and the physical console, the both console. The digital console was a bit cheaper, like $50 cheaper, and the one with both, which was great. You know, okay, I like that decision as well. But so now we waited for a Pro version to show up, and what do? They fuck it up. They've proven before they are nothing but a bunch of greedy bastards, and they proven it once again. They released this console, which is going to be digital only, which is going to cost like $800, probably more in certain countries. Someone saying the UK is going to be $920. Probably here in Mexico it's going to be like $1,000, man. Oh, but that's not all. You want the console to read physical discs? You're gonna have to buy the hardware separately. We will not include that on the PlayStation 5 Pro. And what are the specs of the PS5 Pro? True 4K for the first time ever. That thing right there, that's a lie. You know, 4K, that's a lie. You need a 4K TV. And maybe if you're lucky to get 4K or something close to it, but not like 100% stable 4K. That's a lie. So this Pro is going to be like stable, right? Or maybe 8K. That box, I think it says like... That's the box that says 8K. It's not even 4K, it says 8K. So now it's this new console that costs like way more than that. It's been the same, the PlayStation 2 Slim. I don't remember the PS1 Slim. I don't remember, don't ask me. But I remember when the PlayStation 2 came out, the Fat. And then a few years later, the Slim version was a bit more expensive. That made sense. Or was almost at the same price, PS4 Fat was like, I don't know, $200 maybe. And Slim was $300. Just a random number I'm pulling out of my ass. I didn't do any research when it comes to PlayStation 2 prices. Okay, and Sony's been like this, but this huge jump... it's just ridiculous. And no, it's not only that. It's the fact that the console is digital only and you gotta buy everything separately. Like, that's just insulting. This is an insult to players. But am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised because Sony is a piece of shit. It's fucking woke. It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking oppressive. It's fucking political. They stopped caring about video games a long time ago and they've proven that. So a few years ago, they care more about political bullshit. They care more about money. They care more about whatever, everything out there except video games. And of course, they don't give a shit about you, the player. And of course, they don't give a shit about any player out there in the world. Even the ones that are woke, they don't give a rat's ass. All they care is about following political agendas and maintaining high prices. I hope the PlayStation 5 Pro fails miserably. It probably won't because there's a lot of fucking stupid people out there with money and are going to buy this fucking console. If you feel offended because I just said that, I don't give a shit. Look at the situation. You really want to keep your money, your really hard-earned money for like months? Because what's the minimum wage in like the United States or in Canada or in UK, in all of those rich countries? Dude, you're going to have to spend... Probably a lot of people are going to have to spend months of income just to get a PlayStation 5 Pro, plus the fucking hard drive, or plus the fucking hardware so it can read fucking discs, right? This is one of the most insulting things Sony has ever done in history. But like I said, I'm not really surprised because this is a company that became a fucking piece of shit years ago, and I've completely lost all of my respect for it. Fuck you, Sony. Fuck PlayStation. Fuck politics. Fuck you, greedy bastards. That's all I have to say. I'm just done with my rant. I have more rant. I have another rant today. I'm not, well, maybe it's not gonna be such a big rant, but it is a rant. You beat Chrono Cross last week. Congratulations. Hope you enjoy the fuck out of it just like I did. Any advice for owning a shop? Not anymore, because the last time I owned a shop was like 6-7 years ago. My advice might be outdated. Concord fucked them up bad. Deservedly. What a trash-ass meme game they were making for $250 million. Taking 8 years, what a joke. I agree, Awad Khalid. I don't think Concord may have something to do with the price, but I don't think that much, you know. These guys are billionaires. This is why, you know, all of these losses aren't affecting them that much. Those numbers are like huge. Huge for like 99% of human beings out there. But for a company like Sony, that's nothing. It's like Disney, man. They keep making fucking shitty movies and shows that no one's watching, no one fucking cares. And they make dramas about it, and they still fail miserably. And despite that, they continue, you know? So I don't think maybe these companies don't even care about the money anymore. I just call Sony a bunch of greedy fucking bastards. Maybe they don't even care about the money. Because they have these mafias behind them, supplying them with money. Like, they don't care. All they care is about being a slave to the political narrative. Nintendo probably will announce this month Super Nintendo Switch Pro Max at $400. I don't think so. I'm still convinced Nintendo will announce their console next year, not this one. PS5 disc drive is sold out here in the UK. See what I mean? These people are fucking stupid. This console, this PS5 Pro is not gonna fail. People are that fucking stupid, and they want to spend money on that. Sorry. Have you ever done a video list of exclusive today per system? Like, you can play Shadow Hearts only on PS2 today? Yeah, I've done, not for PS2. I have one planned for PlayStation 2. But I've done some. I've done Switch, Nintendo DS, PlayStation 1. What else have I done? I've done a couple. I've done a bunch of them. I didn't do a PSP one because it's almost impossible. Almost every single PSP game in existence can be played on the PS Vita. So it's like kind of pointless, right? Anyway, yeah, Nintendo DS, Nintendo Switch, PS Vita, I did one on the PS Vita. And I don't remember if I did one for Super Nintendo. I don't remember. But I've done some. Maybe I'll do one for PS2 one day. What firmware is your old PS4? There is a new jailbreak for 11 firmware. I have no idea. It's the first version ever. I don't know which firmware it is, but it's the first PlayStation 4 ever made. The first one, the first model. I don't know the firmware though. Exactly, that's gameplay. Companies are starting to prove that they don't give a shit about gamers. They just give a shit about about money, about political correctness, about diversity, and about keeping minorities happy. And a lot of minorities aren't fucking happy. They're even starting to lose support from these so-called minorities. No one gives a shit about video games. The 1% don't give a fuck anymore. Maybe Nintendo still does. Maybe. Hidden Gems on PS5. You know, a couple of days ago I was just planning that video and I was like, nah, I need a little bit more time. I just don't want to have to put some games in there that are like not great. So Give me a little bit more time with PS5. I will do a Hidden Gems JRPG video on PS5. Give me a little bit more time. I've only owned the PS5 for like 1 year. I bought it exactly 1 year ago in September last year. Holy shit, yeah. right around mid-September. Wow. My PS5 is 1 year old. And usually that will be enough, you know, but the reason why I did so many Hidden JRPG Gems videos is because I already had the consoles for years, or because I bought them and I hacked them. And like, I don't know, for example, the PS Vita. So I played everything in a few months. But the Switch, remember when I got the Switch? That was all the way back in June or July. I think it was June of 2019. And it took me almost an entire year to come up with a Hidden Gems video. Right? Because I couldn't hack the Switch or anything, you know. So yeah, I need more time for a PS5 Hidden Gems video. The so-called modern audience... The modern audience is getting fucked up too. Everybody's getting fucked up in the ass nowadays. Indiscriminately now, it seems. No, actually discriminately, you know, but it's a mess. This world, the gaming industry, man. It's a fucking mess. You think the US and Japan will try to keep their market by releasing good games, but no, let the Chinese and Korean developers take over. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. If Sword of Convaleria gets a port in consoles, will you play it? I don't know, because I heard it's a gacha game. It's a free-to-play game, and I don't like those. So probably not. Initially, when the developers reached out to me a long time ago, I told them that if you ever release this game on a console system, let me know. Right? But now I found out a couple of weeks ago that the game's a free-to-play game, and I was like, fuck this. Not interested. Not all companies pray toward. Disney is losing a lot of money and they don't give a rat's ass. Probably because they're controlled by the US government. Did you hear about that game called Dustborn? No. I think I've seen some things about it, but I don't give a shit about it. I'll be completely honest, you know, I don't really give a fuck about most AAA games. Whether they have DEI or not, I just don't give a shit. I don't even care about Final Fantasy anymore. Or Dragon Quest, or even a lot of Atlus games, you know, I just don't care. Right now I'm paying a lot more attention to, like, retro games, or like from PS4 era and below that, Switch. And also paying more attention to fan translations, you know, stuff like that. Right now I'm kind of completely out of the loop when it comes to modern games, you know. So I don't have a lot of interest anymore. Primarily because of DEI, of course. But even if it wasn't for that, you know, the games have gotten too expensive and too... Like, it's the same game again. Like, they have no creativity anymore. They all want to be Soulsborne, I mean Souls-like, or Metroidvania, or open world, or huge and massive and whatever, and I don't know, man, it's just... We talked about this before, let's just talk about something else. What game... What game am I waiting for next year, speaking about my lack of interest in modern games? Well, anyway, Trails in the Sky remake, Fate Extra remake... That's it. Maybe the Tales of Graces remaster, but I'm pretty sure you watched my video on my second channel yesterday, that I uploaded yesterday. Pretty sure. I have watched many videos praising Sword of Convaleria. Well, somebody else... Convaleria feels like a mobile game. Okay. Ooh, Dan from Belleville. And why are you Stone Games now? Stone Games? That's the reason I'm playing retro games or previous gen games recently. Yeah, me too. Playing Grow Lancer 6. Have something to say about Grow Lancer 6. So, you know how I downloaded the fan translation of Grow Lancer 6? And it happened last year. It didn't work on my PlayStation 2. So here's the full story, so you can get some context and background of what I'm about to say. So this is a game that was only in Japan. It was released in 2007 or 8, I think. Never left Japan, and it took forever for people to make a translation. So finally last year, I believe, or was it this year? I'm not too sure. Earlier this year or last year, they released a fan translation of it. Not 100% accurate or professional, or something like that. No, and it still has some glitches and stuff like that. So it wasn't like perfect fan translation. No, but it was there. It was like complete. Some things were like some town names weren't translated. Some things, maybe just 1% dialogue. Okay, that's okay. The game's still perfectly playable, right? So they released that, but I can't emulate PlayStation 2 games on my laptop, on my current laptop. I can emulate like PS1 era and below that, but PS2, it can't handle it apparently. It should handle it, but it can't for some reason. I've tried it before several times, it just doesn't work. So I was stuck with the PlayStation 2, which I think you can see right here in that table. It's there. So I downloaded a ROM for my PlayStation 2. I had a USB and a modded memory card, so it could play games, digital games, not digital, like ROMs and ISOs. And it didn't work. I tried several things, downloaded the ISO from different nothing worked. The game didn't work, so I gave up. Some time passed and I tried again, same thing. So about a week and a half ago, was it a week and a half ago? No, it was actually less than a week ago. Last Monday, it was Monday, yeah. So about a week ago, I was like, third time's the charm, right? And I saw that they made an update to the ISO. So I was like, fuck it, let's do this. I was going to do a PlayStation 2 stream, obscure PS2 games stream on my Twitch channel. Link to my Twitch channel in the description. You can subscribe for free if you have Amazon Prime. A little bit of self-promotion. Anyway, so I downloaded the ROM. I was like, fuck it, I'm doing this already. I'm gonna use the PS2. Why not? Third time's the charm. Third time was the charm. It worked. It fucking worked, and I was so excited. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna play this on Twitch. I gotta play this on YouTube. So the next day I played it on YouTube, but like 1 hour later, 15 minutes later, it fucked out. It glitched out. It froze. A lot of you were there in that stream, and I was like, fuck it. So after that, I got a little bit sad. I was depressed. And I was like, oh my god, it got me. I got excited for nothing. But I was like, okay. About a month ago, I beat this fan-translated turn-based RPG on the PSP called Soul Trigger, which I covered recently in another video. And I was like, for that game, I needed... The game will freeze at one point, the English patch. So what if I do the same for Grow Lancer 6? The solution for Soul Trigger was downloading a Japanese ISO, putting it in your console, and then play it there, and once you reach the next save point, you simply reload the English patch. That's what I did with Soul Trigger. It worked. I beat the game, great. So I was like, I'm gonna do the same for Grow Lancer 6, right? So I did the same, and guess what? It fucking worked. So I've been playing Grow Lancer 6, and I'm like probably 10 hours in, maybe? 8 hours? 8 to 10 hours, maybe? Because yeah, it's one of those games where the playtime doesn't show up on your memory card. It's one of those. A lot of games were like that, and they still kind of are like that. Nintendo, I'm looking at you. Anyway, so I've been playing the game, it's been a blast, but it's been a pain in the ass that every now and then it freezes at a certain scene or a certain enemy attacks. There's these cat girls. You guys are probably gonna make a meme about this. But these cat girl, these Neko type of enemies, that they steal items from you. And whenever they do that, they're only on certain areas, thankfully. When they do that, the game freezes. Cat girls freeze the English patch on my PlayStation 2. Unbelievable. No other enemy does that. But there's been like a one scene where it also froze. There was a puzzle that I hated, where you had to grab some lights and put them in other places. It also froze. So I've been playing those parts in Japanese and doing the same. Once I reach the save point, the next save point, I just save and I reload the English patch and move on, you know. And so far it's worked like that. It's worked okay. I am afraid that at one point I'm gonna have to miss a very important scene or a very important mission where I won't be able to understand anything because of this. But it's free. It's a fan translation. This is a sequel to one of my favorite video games of all time, so I'm gonna have to suck it up and put up with that and deal with it. But this game is fucking brutal. As brutal as Growlancer 4, also known as Wayfarer of Time. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm starting to believe that Atlus USA, when they localized Growlancer 5, they may have tweaked with the difficulty a little bit. Growlancer 5 is still a tough motherfucker, but it's not as hard as 4 or 3 or even 2. In fact, Growlancer 5 is the easiest of them all. It's still fucking hard, but it's easy compared to the others, you know. But this 6th entry is just as fucking insane, you know. Let me give you just a couple of random examples. You know, there's this mission where there's some ruins and there's like 3 lights: green light, blue light, and red light. So you're supposed to grab one of the lights with one of your characters and to open a door, right? You gotta grab the light and go to the door so you can go inside. Well, and so as soon as you grab the light, here are the penalties. You grab the light and monsters immediately appear. One of these monsters, a fucking mage that's like almost immune to physical attacks. Only magic attacks seem to work with this motherfucker, right? But that's not the only penalty. If the character carrying the light gets hit or attacks someone or a monster, the light goes back to its original place. So you gotta use your other 2 characters to entertain the monsters, and hopefully the monsters won't target that specific character, so that specific character can grab the light and run through the door in peace, safely. This mission was fucking garbage. This mission was fucking ridiculous. It was so fucking stupid, man, because it's such a cramped area. So it's hard to run around without the monsters noticing you. And then on the next screen, now it was 2 lights. So you needed only 1 character. The game's been a pain in the ass so far because there's 4 spaces, so I'm assuming at some point I'll have 4 party members, like in all the previous Growlancer games. But in here it's taken forever. I haven't seen 4 party members at all in my 8 to 10 hour playthrough. It's fucking insane. So this mission, I had to beat it with like 3 characters. 3 fucking characters. So I got like 1 character trying to take all the monsters by himself, while the other 2 I had to move them, give them directions, you know, to circle around the enemies and safely make it. That's fucking horseshit. And on top of it all, I had to beat this mission in Japanese because the mission was phrasing in English. Fucking hell. And then there was another mission right after that. There was a puzzle, like the switches, the typical switches. All the switches are connected to this generator and you gotta put them in the right order to make this other generator work, and that was a huge fucking pain in the ass. I have to look it up online. I have to look up a guide, and there's only one guy on the internet, and the guy's a fucking idiot who doesn't know how to write guides because he's just saying, oh, you gotta do this and that. He's telling you to do what the game is telling you to do. He's not offering advice, like do this first, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and do this. No. He's not offering a solution. Fuck this asshole who wrote the only fucking guide of Growlancer 6 on the internet. I'm almost done. I'll be back to your questions in a bit. Yeah, I'm not done. So, last night I was trying to do a mission where the game tells you to kill over 15 enemies, but not over 34. And it was a really hard mission because the enemies start swarming at you, you know, a lot of them. So it was fucking hard. I had to grind the 2 levels and beat the mission this morning. It's fine. I'm not that angry about that mission, but initially it was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I beat 15 soldiers, and then the character started telling me in English, thankfully, that if I beat over 15 soldiers, the enemy commander will appear, and I'm gonna have to flee, and that'll end the mission. So last night, I beat over 20 fucking soldiers. Motherfucking commander never fucking appeared. And I was like, what the fuck, man? I'm just enduring here. I have no more healing items. This is a game with limited inventory, like the Tales games. Hey, you can only carry 9 healing items of each. So I spam them all because I'm supposed to endure. So I was like, fuck it, man. But this mission, it wasn't cryptic like the others or annoying or frustrating. It was more like very hard. So I lost, got a couple of game overs, grinded 2 levels, and succeeded this morning. So it's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that this game is just as fucking ridiculous and insane as Growlancer 4. I mean, you'd think because this is a direct sequel with the same interface, the same graphics, the same controls, the same battle system, even some of the same music, it's a direct sequel to Growlancer 5, which was nowhere near as fucking ridiculous as this, or as 4, But it's like, it feels in terms of gameplay that 6 is a sequel to 4. 4 is fucking ridiculous. Hardest Growlancer ever, man. But this one, it's up there as well. It's fucking ridiculous. And that's my rant, but I'm still enjoying the fuck out of this game because I'm a massive Growlancer fan. And one of the many reasons why I love Growlancer 5 was the storytelling, the characters, the mission, the objectives, the variety in gameplay mechanics. So I'm gonna have to suck it up and grind. And I'm losing my breath already. Yeah, I may develop a love-hate relationship with this fucking game, but I'm loving it. And if you have a decent computer that can emulate PS2 games, this game is strongly recommended. For now. Let me beat it first. I'm back. Well, you want me to answer your questions and focus on that, make some donations, right? Money. I'm a greedy bastard like Sony. Nice that you beat Trails in the Sky, that's an awesome game. Fantasia, only the PS1 version seems to work. There's no fan translation for the remake on PSP. Yeah, Fantasia got 2 remakes. Neither of them came out of Japan. I can't say that I'm very hyped for East 10, but I'm hyped nonetheless. It's an East game, but it's by NIS America. They're probably gonna alter the localization and translation and whatever. What about Armed Fantasia? What about it? It's probably going to come out next year. I interviewed the developer a couple of years ago. Yes, Stone Games. That's right, Dan. So I missed your explanation for what Stone Games. Oh, you were playing with different names. Keep thinking about getting into streaming, but never follow through. I can't blame you there. Everybody does streaming or YouTube or content creation in many social media nowadays. It's kind of like, I already talked about the PlayStation 5 Pro, Tyson, you missed it. Big fucking rant I made. Exactly why you keep coming back asking for my opinion. My opinion about what? Oh, Armed Fantasia. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks great. Hopefully it won't have any evil companies like 505 Games in charge of the localization. Hopefully the publisher will respect the script. I'm looking forward to it. I made some publicity to the game when the Kickstarter was announced. I interviewed the developer. The game looks fucking beautiful. It will probably come out next year. I'm looking forward to it. Greetings from Colombia. What do you think about Final Fantasy 16? Fuck that game. I don't give a shit about it. Whenever I play JRPGs, I'll usually take a week to level up my characters. That's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. No, I haven't tried that, man. That's fucking crazy. I have a life. Did you unbox the Aegis figure that came with that? Yeah, some time ago. This was a gift from an awesome fan. I don't know if that fan is watching. His name is Matt. He goes by Baoa Q here. This was a gift from that fan. He sent it several months ago, and I did do an unboxing, and I uploaded the unboxing on my second channel. Check it out if you have time. You have a PC that can emulate PS2 games, but the problem is that the emulation itself, and sadly some of them have some problems. You need a better PC like I do. What classic JRPG would you like to see get a pixel remaster? I'd rather see some of these games get remastered or remade in the HD 2D style. Well, let's just pretend that the best thing that can happen to it is a pixel remaster. Let's just pretend that the companies are like, no, we're not gonna remake this game with HD 2D. Pixel remaster, that's it. Choose. I think I will probably go with Breath of Fire 1 and 2. And Breath of Fire 2 kind of adds some quality of life features to it, please, because it's very annoying to play. I ended up rage quitting at some point halfway through the game and never went back to it, and I'm never going back to Breath of Fire 2. Never. Until a remake or remaster comes out and it fixes the many fucking issues it has. So I think Breath of Fire 1 and 2 are my answers. They will look beautiful. I would love for Namco to do the same with some of the older Tales games. We've been begging Namco for years to remaster, remake, port, just to bring these motherfuckers back. In whatever form, just bring them back. The old Tales games, Fantasia, Destiny, and Eternia. Those three. Pixel remaster, HD 2D, whatever, just bring them back. That's all I want. That's my pick. I don't have a strong opinion on pixel remasters because I haven't played the Final Fantasy pixel remasters. I've seen footage of them, and they look great, but I would prefer an HD 2D remake of some of the games that I mentioned. But like I said, if a pixel remaster is all I can hope for, let it be those games. What is your rating of Project Cross-On 2 from the 3DS? You will find it on my blog. Link to my blog in the description. There's already over 300 RPGs ranked in there. And Project Cross-On 2 is there. Oh, you mean the Aegis figure. Did I take the Aegis figure specifically out of the box? No, I didn't. I'm that guy. When it comes to limited editions, I don't open anything. I've done it before for some things, like I opened the t-shirt for my special edition of Odin Sphere several years ago when I got it. And I regret it, because putting the t-shirt back in the plastic was a pain in the ass. So, yeah, I'm that kind of guy who never touches anything, never unboxes anything from the special editions. Nothing. If something is sealed, I keep it sealed. Will you buy East 10 Nordics? Thankfully, I won't have to because a fan pre-ordered the special edition of it for me. So thank you, Matt. The same guy who sent this. I've covered the Digital Devil Saga duology many times before. And it's also, the first episode is ranked in my blog. Full of problems, man. Yeah. I think they're great. It's a great duology, but there's just so many fucking issues with them. What makes Grow Lancer 5 a masterpiece for you? Watch my review of it, and I've also covered the game to death. I'm surprised you're asking that question when I've explained why I think it's a masterpiece like in 10,000 videos. What's your favorite Final Fantasy game? That will be Final Fantasy IX. Have you played JRPG MMOs? No, I don't play MMOs. I quit MMORPGs many years ago. They are too addictive for me, too fucking dangerous. So I quit. I gave up. Nothing against them, don't worry. But I'd rather stay away from MMORPGs. Or any MMO type of game. They're dangerous. Well, Aegis is my favorite fucking character in Persona 3, so I'm happy she was chosen to be the statue, the figure. But I love Chihiro as well. I fucking love her. I'm not interested in Reinatis or pretty much the only game I'm interested from Nice America is East 10. Everything else can kiss my fucking ass. Those guys ghosted me, gave me the middle finger. Fuck Nice America. It's a personal thing. If you played Reinatis and are enjoying it, good for you, man. Nothing against the game. It's just a personal thing between me and Nice America. I want nothing to do with those guys anymore. Can you recommend any of the .hack GU games? I recommend all of them. It's actually, the .hack GU games are one game. It's just one game. Come to 4 volumes. Or 3 if you stick to the PS2 originals. But it's the same game. And like, there's no point in playing just one. You're gonna have to play them all. So I do recommend the .hack GU game. I strongly recommend it, actually. Have you played Visions of Mana? Just the demo, and I'm not looking forward to Dragon Quest remakes. They are being censored as fuck and politicized as fuck. Do you have a video of the best way to get into Grow Lancer? No, I don't think so. I don't think I do. And if you don't, what should be the best way to get into Grow Lancer? Grow Lancer 5. That's how I got into it. And like I was saying earlier, it's still a very difficult game, very challenging, but it's the easiest Grow Lancer as opposed to the others. So it's the best way to get into Grow Lancer. Grow Lancer 5. Definitely, man. The others are too fucking hard. But I got into them and I got to appreciate them despite their nonsensical difficulty spikes and unfair missions, because I was already a fan of Grow Lancer 5. So there can't be a way, in my opinion, a better way to get into Grow Lancer than starting with the best one, which is 5. Chihiro is the girl in the student council. Yeah, but I prefer Chidori. The redhead gothic Lolita, even though she's not really a Lolita. I mean, she's a woman. She's not a little girl. You know? Well, she's a teenager. But you get the idea. I love Chidori. Chihiro, I don't know. She was my first waifu. When I first played Persona 3, she was my first waifu. And then I went for both Yukari and Mitsuru. But I stuck with Mitsuru, for obvious reasons. And then on the remake, you couldn't date Aigis before, but in the remake, you can finally do that, so of course I went for Aegis. Damn it, man, this is a game I've beaten 3 times already, maybe 4. No news about other platforms for the Sky remake. Are you really worried? Do you honestly believe Trails in the Sky remake will be a Switch exclusive? Come on, man. Come on. As if Falcom... There's not a single Falcom game in existence exclusive to anything. Even the SWI games we never got, we got them on PC. They were released over there in Japan in the PSP. So, come on, man. Stop worrying about that. It's like 100%, 110% guarantee Trails in the Sky is gonna be everywhere. Do you think The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky will release on PS? I should answer that. Thoughts on Korean RPGs? I think a video on that will be interesting. Guess what, Joseph? I already made that video. 2 videos. One is very fucking old. It's like from 2018, I believe. Watch the other one. It's called Top 5 Best Korean RPGs. Check that one out. Hey, Felix. Who was Yuko again? The sports girl? I know people walking on the street. What a name. I'll probably get a new laptop next year. You want North Korean RPGs? Alright, Joseph, take care. Enjoy the video. Magna Carta is a Korean RPG. Has your taste for consoles left yet, or are you being patient? What are you talking about? Patient. I love consoles. I will never stop loving consoles. Oh yeah, the track team girl. That's Yuko. Oh, okay, yeah. I liked her too. Namco Bandidos. Growlancer 5 versus Path of Radiance. For me personally, Growlancer 5 wins by a hair. I already talked about the PS5 Pro, Donsk. You missed it. Your thoughts on the coast of the PS5 Pro. I missed it. You missed it. I already talked about that. This fucking song, man, it's awesome. Awesome song. You missed a lot of stuff. Everybody misses stuff. We all do. I didn't know Eternite was Korean. Isn't that an indie game? I haven't played it. I know it's got some DEI bullshit on it though. So I'm not interested in playing it. Yes, Praetor. Again, link in the description. Why are you guys so lazy? Well, okay. Now that there's 300 RPGs in there, okay, I get it. I fucking get it. You know, but take a quick look to the blog. That's it. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm not making a single penny. If you go and look at my blog, there's nothing to gain for me. It's just for fun. Okay? Just look at the blog and you'll see my highest. They are from like highest to lowest. So you can see my highest ranked RPGs in there. Yeah, you really want that, Alastor? A Growlancer collection with altered translations for the micro-minorities that no one cares about, and even these minorities don't give a shit about Growlancer? That's what you want? That's what Atlus is doing nowadays. Do you remember a game named Child of Light? Yes, I own a physical copy of it on the PlayStation Vita. I've never finished that game. I really would love to go back to it one day. But what turned me off about that game, everything is fantastic in that game, but what turned me off is that the battles are so slow. Fortunately, there's only just a few battles per area or stage. Most of them are mandatory. But they're just so slow, man. I love turn-based, but not when it's this goddamn slow, man. Battles take forever in that game, so I just gave up on it and never went back to it, but I would love to go back to it and put up with those slow battles and give it a chance because it's a really beautiful game. Sad it's by one of the worst fucking video game company of all time nowadays, which is Ubi shit. What is my favorite OST in JRPG games? That will be Chrono Cross. We can already tell when someone's new to this channel. The Daniel's Dan. You're new to this channel, huh? And before you ask, Chrono Cross is also my favorite game of all time. Trauma Center, huh? I haven't played those. You want a Princess Crown localization? I don't. I fucking don't. I want nothing from Atlus anymore. They're gonna wokenize everything. So I want a fan translation instead. By people who don't care about politics, you know? And they're gonna be faithful as they can to the Japanese script. That's what I want for Princess Crown and many other games that never left Japan. Are you familiar with the anime Escaflowne? Yes, I am. I grew up with it. 90s show. I think it's an 80s show. Was it 90s? Early 90s? Anyway, I watched the show. I loved it. I think I have a bootleg copy of it in my piracy collection of anime series. Are there any JRPGs with similar mechs? The closest I can think of is probably the Trails series, especially Trails of Cold Steel. There are no playable mechs in the first two sagas, but Cold Steel 1 through 5 being called Reverie, there's a bunch of mechs in there. They're kind of similar to Escaflowne, or else you can go with Xenogears or Xenosaga. You know, that's as close as it gets when it comes to JRPGs. Maybe with similar mechs to Escaflowne. What RPG has been the most disappointing game for you in 2023-2024? Oof. 2023? Cry Machina. That was probably the biggest disappointment. Well, no. Okay. I think the biggest disappointment between both years, like number one, by far Fire Emblem Engage. Fuck that fucking game. Fuck it. I hate it. Yeah, that will be my number one. Probably Cry Machina second. Eiyuden Chronicle is also there. I love the Eiyuden Chronicle, the localization was garbage. Maybe this fucking thing. Fucking loved it as well, but the localization. Again. What else? Loop 8. I haven't covered Loop 8, so I won't say much about it. But all I can say is Loop 8. It's there. But Loop 8 didn't disappoint me because I didn't have high expectations for it. In fact, I was expecting nothing. I knew the game was universally trashed last year. And I was like, why? And when I played it, I played the first couple of hours. And everything was fine, right? But then I kept playing more and more and more and more. And I'll review the game. I'll review the game someday. But yeah, I can't think of a better game between those 2 years than Fire Emblem Engage. You know, it was like, holy shit, it can't get any lower than that. Fire Emblem cannot get any lower than that. Hey, Coleman Young, thanks a bunch for the feedback. What? Gemfire? Okay. When are they going to release Front Mission 3 Remake? Probably next year. Because I think they released Front Mission first in 2023, was it? Or was it 2? And then I think this year they released the second game. Front Mission 3 is probably going to be there next year. But why don't you look it up on Google, you know? Maybe a release date has already been announced and we didn't know. When I was playing Jeanne d'Arc on PS5, did you buy it or do you have the subscription that it's free? I bought it. I paid $9 with 99 cents plus taxes. And that gave me an equal of 11.36 US dollars. 11.36. I bought it. Fragrant Story and Papaya's Path? No. I think someone mentioned that game to me a long time ago and I was like, is that a Vagrant Story hack or something? But no, that's an actual game. Sakura Wars on PS2 has fun mechas. That's right, also on PS4. 2 different games though. Did you think we are going to get an Octopath Traveler 3 in the future? I already talked about that in another video. It all depends if we can bring Acquire working with Square Enix again, because Square Enix has the IP, the rights to Octopath Traveler, but Acquire left Square Enix earlier this year, and they became kind of independent. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Hopefully we will get it. Hopefully we can get both studios to work again. But I wouldn't trust anything from Square Enix nowadays anymore. Fan patches for Falcom Games to remove wokeism. Please. For consoles. But it's never going to happen for consoles, but at least for PC. Haha, you're new. I knew it, Daniel. Thank you. Have you watched Cowboy Bebop? I didn't watch it growing up. Actually, I watched Cowboy Bebop like 3 years ago, maybe? Recently, actually, not long ago, for the first time ever. Great anime. I think it's a bit overrated. It's not like, wow, one of the best animes ever. A lot of people put that anime on a silver plate. And okay, you know, I respect that, but it's a good anime, but it's not that great. I haven't played Chained Echo, my Chained Echoes of every stream. No, I haven't, and I probably won't because it's full of DEI bullshit. I'm more interested in Sea of Stars, which I haven't played either. I'm gonna put like here, a message, a sign here saying, no, I haven't played Chained Echoes and I don't give a fuck about it. I am more interested in Sea of Stars, but I haven't played it either, just the demo. A disclaimer. So I won't get that question anymore. What are your thoughts on the PS5 Pro reveal? I already talked about that. What about for a JRPG based on the anime Jujutsu Kaisen? I haven't seen the anime, so sure, I guess. Do I need to play Loop 1 to 8, 1 to 7 first? Actually, wait till I'll review the game as soon as I can. Just haven't found the right video to include it. Gemfire is the first game that introduced strategy games, to be honest, and I still love the game, to be honest. Okay, thank you for being honest, to be honest. Mexico, no, it doesn't have its own store. I don't think so. I mean, I have a Mexican account and I buy everything with the US taxes, so yeah. You need another Valkyria Chronicles. Yeah. My problem with Valkyria Chronicles is that they have been woke since the first game. But back then it didn't matter, no one cared. It was just there, you know, and it was fine. But nowadays it's gonna be like... I don't know, man. What is this? This song's too fucking long. Oh, it's over. Yeah, I was like, man, that song is too long. It's taking forever. Here, check out some Drakengard music on the PlayStation 2. Do you play chess? Yes, I do. I do play chess. Why is Chrono Cross your favorite RPG? Again, a question I've answered in like 10,000 videos. There's an entire video dedicated to it. It's called How Chrono Cross Broke My Heart and Changed My Life. Oh yeah, it's that big of a deal to me. Watch that video and you'll understand everything. Yeah, but The Messenger is like a 2D side-scroller, right? I've seen some people saying that I should play The Messenger first, but... I like side-scrollers, you know, I'll probably like The Messenger, but if it's like Ninja Gaiden level of difficult... I suck at those games, man. Exactly, Smiling Dog. He's like any other company now, any big company nowadays. Sega Atlus is the same company. Yeah, NIS America, Square Enix, Bandai Namco. It's everywhere. The Mafia got them all. What's your favorite Suikoden and Sinnoh game? Suikoden, my favorite Suikoden is Suikoden 5, released on the PS2. That's the one most people haven't played because Konami never bothered to port it to the PlayStation 3 like it did with 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And even Tactics is fucking there. 5 seemed to be the only one Konami didn't bother with because they fucking hate the game. They do, actually. The game was a failure in both. It was successful in Japan, but it was a failure in North America and they didn't bother with it. It's like, fuck you, Konami. And my favorite Sinnoh game is probably... Damn it. I think the best game is probably Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That's the highest ranked Sinnoh game in my blog. But I think I like Xenosaga 3 a bit more. Probably because of nostalgia. I beat Xenosaga 3 about 8 years ago, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 I beat it 2 years ago. So yeah, both games have been around in my life, but I think I need more time with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, maybe a second playthrough to appreciate it even more. But despite the fact that I believe Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a bit better, it's like the best Xeno game ever, dude, Xenosaga 3 was awesome. But when it comes to storytelling, nothing beats Xenogears. In terms of story, that's the best fucking game. The best Xeno game ever. But considering everything else, you know, gameplay, battle system, graphics, whatever, I think Xenosaga 3 is my favorite. Suikoden, was that a commercial failure for Western audiences? Thank you, Newcomb. No, not really. You know, the games were partially successful, some of them, but it's just when we got to 5, PS3 was around the corner. Konami didn't print many copies of Suikoden 5. So yeah. It was never that commercially successful, you know. The only one that was like commercially successful, and I say successful because fucking Konami has high standards, was Suikoden 3. Believe it or not. I think Suikoden 3 sold about maybe 1 million copies worldwide. Maybe, I'm not sure. I made a video about that called Top 25 Best-Selling PS2 JRPGs a couple of years ago. And I remember Suikoden 3 was in that video, and I was surprised. I was like, Suikoden 3 is the best-selling game in the franchise? Oh, okay. It's a fantastic game, I love it, but I wasn't expecting, you would expect the first one or the second one, but no, the second was also a failure in North America. Suikoden 1 and 2, especially the second one, were a huge success in Japan, but not outside of Japan. Konami never bothered with proper advertisement for those games. They didn't push them forward. And as a result, the Suikoden series were pretty much hidden gems, every single one of them. Until eventually, foreists, people in forums and here on YouTube, started talking about them and praising them and whatever. And now it's a pretty well-known franchise and established. But back then, you could say that maybe, yes, the series was commercially a failure. Thanks again, Newcom. He says, Sea of Stars story is very mediocre. If not for the battle system, the game will just be an average RPG. I've heard that argument 1,000 times. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, when I played the demo, I thought the same. I was like, graphics, fucking awesome. Music, fucking awesome. Battle system, fucking awesome. Story, well, the demo was pretty short. I was like, it's only 40 minutes long, maybe 1 hour. And I was like, yeah, it's kinda okay at best, the story and characters. But I didn't want to judge the game because I only played it for 1 hour or less. I actually reviewed the demo last year. But I haven't played the game, so... But I've seen a lot of people saying that the story's eh. So we'll see. Xenogears is a masterpiece. The story is a masterpiece. The soundtrack, 10 out of 10. But... yeah, I'm not sure about the gameplay. Yggdra Union and Nights in the Nightmare from Sting Entertainment is just god freaking hard, especially the latter. Yep. Sting Entertainment is the second... what are the 3 JRPG developers? The kings of hardcore. There's a company called Success. That's my number one, the most hardcore JRPG developer. Those fucking guys are insane. And then there's Sting Entertainment. Not every game. Sting also has a few games are okay. But almost every game developed by Sting Entertainment is fucking brutal. And I guess the third will be From Software. Those seem to be the 3 most hardcore motherfucker JRPG developers on the planet. But yeah, man, Sting is just... How many Sting games have I beaten? I beat Hexis Force, where it was co-developed by them, I think. Another company pitched in, and the game feels different. You play Hexis Force on the PSP, and you're at the end, you're this is from Sting? Right? So, great fucking game. Hexis Force is one of the best games ever on the PSP. Not a masterpiece, but it's have I ranked it? I think it's ranked, I think I gave it an 8.6 or something. Or 8.8 even, I don't remember, but fuck, fantastic game. Nowhere near as hardcore as Yggdra Union, Riviera, The Promised Land, Nights in the fucking Nightmare. What else? Gungnir, those games are ridiculous, man. There's Dungeon Travelers 2 on the PS. Let's not talk about that game. But that's another hardcore dungeon crawler in first person. Thank you, Yum Yum. Xenoblade 3 is a great game, but it needs to run on a powerful console. Do you think it needs the same treatment as Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance? Well, I agree with that. I agree that I would, like many of you, I would love to play the Xenoblade games on PlayStation 5. Because, my god, the games have amazing graphics. But, yeah, they're on Switch. Resolution, frame rate issues. Yeah, right? But, you can just forget about that, Yum Yum. I don't think Xenoblade games will ever be on PlayStation because the owners are Nintendo. These are... well, they aren't developed by Nintendo. They are developed by Monolith Soft. which makes them third party. But then again, Monolith Soft seems to be a subsidiary of Nintendo. Like Atlus is for Sega. Anyway, Xenoblade on PlayStation is never gonna happen. I don't think so. But maybe the new Nintendo console next year is going to be powerful. It's just Nintendo, man. It's like everybody's like 4K and Nintendo's like 720p is fine. So, that's the best we can hope for the Xenoblade games. To have some kind of graphic upscale whatever on the next Nintendo console. If that's what you mean by powerful. I know I'm being sarcastic, it's just Nintendo doesn't seem to care about that, about 4K and 8K and whatever, you know, they just don't care. They care more about the quality of their games than the quality of their graphics, right? I still believe Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the best Xeno game ever made, you know, but I like Xenosaga 2 a bit more. And Xenosaga 3, Jesus, 3. Xenosaga 3 ran on a powerful console, which was a PlayStation 2, which ironically was the weakest console of its generation. Like, I think the GameCube was a bit more powerful, and the Xbox was the most powerful console of that generation. So, maybe we also need Xenosaga 3 to run a powerful console. We'll see what happens next year with Nintendo. Did you see the Lollipop Chainsaw remake? They managed to release it without any censorship. I think I read some people saying that there was actually some censorship, and that there's like two versions of it. Like the Repop, which is the censored version, and the regular version without censorship. But even that version has a bit of censorship. I'm just not too sure. I'm interested in the game. I'll probably get it, but we'll see. Hexis Force 8.6. There you go, David. Thanks for looking it up. I already talked about the PS5 Pro, Oliver. A lot of the inspired by spiritual successor indies fall short in some aspects or another, be it story, atmosphere, art style. Yeah, because they're all a bunch of fucking wannabes. They want to create the inspired by Chrono Trigger, inspired by Dark Souls, inspired by Symphony of the Night. Like, dude, why can't you come up with your own fucking ideas? I love indie games. You guys know that. You know, I didn't before, but for the past couple of years, I've been getting hardcore into indie RPGs. Like, I've covered a crap ton of indie RPGs this year that I think it's about fucking time I made a top 10 indie RPGs, right? I'll do it. And I think I have it ready, you know, for the past several weeks. I've been planning it, and I think I can make it right now, but I still want to play Sea of Stars first. At least, even if I don't like it and it doesn't end up in the video, I feel like I gotta, like, play it. And then if I love it, you know, it's gonna be in the video, and if I don't, I'll just say in the video, hey, before you ask, I played it and I didn't like it, or something, you know. But forget about Chained Echoes, I don't give a shit about that game. Stop asking me about Chained Echoes, please. Chrono Cross over Chrono Trigger, that's right. Final Fantasy IX over Final Fantasy VI, that's right. Suikoden 5 over Suikoden 2, that's right. Xenoblade 3 over Xenogears, that's right. What do you think about future JRPGs? What's next? Story and character style, or gameplay and graphics and more? That's an interesting question I've answered before. You know, I think the future holds a lot of uncertainty. Some companies seem to be rebelling against political bullshit, but it seems that for the near future, maybe not the distant future, we'll get rid of all the politics, but for now it seems like all the major companies are being controlled by these mafias, by the United States government, by communism, by fucking communists who prefer DEI and stuff like that over quality. So I think the future is a little bit more grim than positive, unfortunately. Which is why I am starting to stop caring about modern games in general and I'm looking more at the past games or at indie games. Because there's still a lot of indie games, with fucking political bullshit, but there's also a lot of fucking games that don't have any politics whatsoever. And that's what I want, and I think that's what most gamers want. So, I don't know what's gonna happen with the future. But yeah, Eka, I'm that guy that prefers Chrono Cross over Trigger, Final Fantasy 9 over 6 and 7, Suikoden 5 over 2, Xenoblade 3 over Xenogears, and a lot more. Persona 3 over 5, Shin Megami Tensei 5 over Nocturne. I am that guy. Have you decided on the Versus episode? Yes, tonight? It's late at night where you live? Oh, I think you're from the UK, right? Yeah, because right now it's like 1 p.m. where I live. Yeah, we have a Versus episode today. Pretty decided. Do you think if the new Nintendo system falls short of expectations, do you think it will make it possible for a buyout from Microsoft? No. No way. Nintendo will never sell out, even if they fail. Nintendo will always be Nintendo. The end. You just hate Kemco. No, I don't. If you own Lollipop Chainsaw on PS4, there is zero reason to buy the remake. There is not enough difference to pay the price for it. Oh, gotcha. I didn't know Chainsaw was on the PS4. I thought it was a PS3 360 game. I didn't know it was already on PS4. Alright. But if you're gonna play a fan service game, the better graphics, the better, right? If you catch my drift. Are you a Silent Hill fan? First and foremost, I was. Survival horror games were my favorite video game genre when I was like 20 years old. I was a massive fan of Silent Hill 2, but for some reason I couldn't get into Silent Hill 2 when it came out. What did I say? I was a massive fan of Silent Hill 1 on the PS1, but then I played Silent Hill 2 and 3, and for some reason I couldn't get into them. I think the reason might be because when I played them, I was already shying away from survival horror games and getting more into RPGs. RPGs happened. So I never finished Silent Hill 2. I made it far, never beat it, abandoned it. Then Resident Evil 4 happened, couldn't get into it. I never beat Code Veronica, Resident Evil Code Veronica. It's a great game. Never beat. I think I hit a difficulty spike with a boss and couldn't defeat the boss, so I gave up. Same with Resident Evil 0. I love the fucking game, but it was around that era when I was just like giving up on survival horror games and moving to RPGs, or focusing more and more into RPGs. So that happened. But to answer your second question, so am I a fan of Silent Hill? I was. Not anymore. I still love, I treasure my memories with the first one. But I like the movie. Nobody liked it. I liked the first movie, okay? Let's just pretend the second movie didn't fucking exist. The first movie, I think it's a good movie. But, I stopped being a fan. I still treasure my memories of the first game, and maybe the original second game, but I cannot bring myself to give two flying fucks about Silent Hill 2 Remake. What were your thoughts on Skies of Arcadia? We just made a Versus episode on that like a couple of weeks ago. I haven't beaten it. It's a good game. I will give it a second chance one day, but what little I played, I think it's a good game, but my problem is that it's a bit dated, and it's got a lot of random encounters, and some spikes here and there, and I don't know. But I think it's a good game, but I just don't have a strong opinion about it, probably because I only played for like 3 hours. Newcomb, thanks for the donation again, buddy. He says, when I play games, I just want to shoot lightning bolts from my hand without being told what political agenda to follow. Exactly. Even a lot of people who are woke, are fucking tired of this. They're like, just give me my fucking video game. It's what I use to disconnect from all the political bullshit ruining the world. From reality. Don't bring that fucking horseshit in my fucking video games. Can we all agree to that? Leave your fucking right-wing, left-wing bullshit out. Just give me a fucking sexy girl shooting lightning bolts out of her fucking hand And that's all I need. I don't need her to be like an uninteresting lesbian or a fucking conservative bitch, you know. I don't know. Just fucking give me a video game and that's it. Can we all agree to that? No, apparently we cannot. So let's just continue hating each other to death and kill each other in a civil war so China can come over and rule us all. Thanks for the donation. Did you play Kudelka on PS1? Yes, I did. I own a physical copy of it. I never beat it because it wasn't fun. I disagree with you. It was not a fun game. It's not a bad game, but it's not a fun game in my opinion. Well, you should, Talking English. I know you know that I can understand Spanish and speak Spanish, but most people can't. So type your comments and questions in English. English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Oh, you're one of those guys. You're a Shin Megami Tensei 4 purist. Gamecom games are trash. No. Come on, no. No, they are not. But they aren't like great. I haven't ranked a single Kemco RPG in my blog. I can rank Revenant Saga and Mystic Chronicles, which I beat, and maybe Cross Tales, but I need to put more hours into Cross Tales. That's a strategy RPG which is surprisingly good, you know. That's it. So Mystic Chronicles is a pretty decent game, you know. Probably an 8 out of 10 at least. You know, it's a good game, great music. Yeah, Chained Echoes, my problem is that people I trust told me it's fucking woke, so I don't give a shit about it. Are you a fan of Ni no Kuni? No. Like, I didn't like the first game. Yeah, sure, impressive graphics, Studio Ghibli, who doesn't love them? Whatever, I just couldn't get into the gameplay mechanics of Ni no Kuni. I got into the second game, which was the gameplay. I liked the gameplay mechanics a bit more. But I didn't finish it because near the end of the game, you know, the game forces you to build your castle, whatever, and recruit more characters and blah, blah, blah. And it just tried to be Suikoden and not in a great way, to be honest. It didn't do it like Suikoden. Ni no Kuni 2 is still a great game. I really enjoyed it, you know, but I'll probably never beat it because I just lost the interest. I abandoned the game and I don't think I'll ever go back to it. It's just... I don't know, man. It wasn't that exciting of a game for me to like put up with these Suikoden shenanigans and beat it, you know? So I wouldn't call myself a fan of Ni no Kuni. And no, you might don't have a Ni no Kuni guide. Thanks for the donation again. He says people don't want to remove political on video games because some gamers saying that Assassin's Creed games are almost true to the real history. Especially the new one, right? The upcoming one. Assassin's Creed Shadows and the... Wow, that's a... Man, I don't want to get into that topic, man. That's a... Dude, let's not talk about Assassin's Creed, please. It's just fucked up. Like, Ubisoft is like, holy shit, man. Remember when Konami or EA were the worst fucking companies? No, man. They don't come even close to Ubisoft. Ubisoft is like the biggest fucking trash of all time nowadays. Holy shit. There are rumors they might go bankrupt. I hope they're true. Fuck Ubisoft with a passion. Fuck Assassin's Creed. Do you think Trails Through Daybreak English dialogue is woke? It's very woke. The localization, okay, not the original script from Falcom. Falcom has always been kinda liberal with some things. There's been like gay characters or color characters, you know, from since the fucking early 2000s or even since the 90s, you know. But Nice America. Do you think Dragon Quest... Can we stop talking about that? Like, you already know how I feel about wokeness and DEI and political bullshit, and you're still asking me questions about, like, Square Enix? Stop. Let's talk about retro games. Really, Aristos? I don't even know who made that list. Probably some woke, dumbass cocksucker. I don't know, Alastor. Apparently it is a Euden Chronicle level. I love political rants. Well, I've done enough today. And I get heated. And that's bad for my skin and my... what's it called in English? You know, my pancreas and... liver. Liver, that's the word in English. It's bad for my liver because I get heated and angry. Which you want to make me angry? You want to see funny angry rants? Go watch my Twitch channel. It's a funny thing happened to me. Some of you were there. A couple of days ago, I made a stream on Twitch. I was trying to revisit some of the obscure games that I've been playing. I was like, I really liked some of those, so I wanted to finish them or put more hours into them. And all I did was rant my guts out about some, because god damn it, man, they were so fucking brutal, hard, frustrating, difficult. And the entirety of the stream was nothing but heated rants and angry rants. I'll probably do a compilation for YouTube of all of those rants, all of those Twitch rants. You know what other game has been making me rant a lot? Jeanne d'Arc. For anybody watching my full playthrough of it here on YouTube, oh man, the RNG pisses the shit out of me in that game. You know, it's so god damn it. I'll probably include some of those rants as well. A rant compilation. Hopefully it won't get demonetized by YouTube. Best Ubisoft RPG? Here too, when they weren't fucking stupid. Child of Light and especially Might and Magic Clash of Heroes, which they didn't develop. That was Capybara Studios. It was just published by Ubi shit. But Capybara Studios developed Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. Great game on the Nintendo DS, PC, PS3, Xbox 360, and maybe phones. There was a remake on Switch and PS4, but it was censored and possibly altered. I don't recommend it. Rants about streaming not working is fun. You mean like what happened to me a few days ago with Grow Lancer 6? That was a lot of fun, I'm sure. That stream was hilarious. You were there, Dunsk? Yeah, it was. The Ikitusen rant was funny. That was funny because I played the game for like an hour, didn't I? And like the first half was fine. It was like, oh, it's challenging. But then the second half was like... yeah. I'm glad you guys had a lot of fun with my anger and my frustration. Okay, the Euden Chronicles localization was bad. It was bad. On a scale of 1 to 10, 7, maybe 8. 8. I'd say 8. 8 level of bad. It is bad. It was fucking bad. The dragons? What a bullshit mission, right? Stop baiting me into getting angry here live. But what a bullshit mission, right? What the fuck? That was me, that was my fault. I thought I only needed 2 characters for the mission, you know? But the problem with the mission is that I'm a bit under-leveled. If I was on the right level or a bit over leveled, I would have beaten the mission no problem, you know. But it's a bullshit mission. Like, have the dragons follow you. And... You know what? I don't think I'm gonna bother with that mission, even if I'm over leveled. It's just... I have the same opinion, Miguel Angel. That's why I quit Vagrant Story. Never quite understood the battle system. And I just found the game like too frustrating, and I gave up. The story was awesome, I agree with that. I have the exact same opinion as you, man. The story was awesome. There was this girl, you know, oh man, that's polygonal fan service PS1 era at its best. Mwah. Great looking girl. But I was like, when I bought that game, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know it was connected to Ivalice. I didn't know it was like, you know, by Yasumi Matsuno. And I knew nothing about Vagrant Story. I just looked at the girl cover. The girl looked really fucking hot, and I was like, I gotta play this fucking. It's a JRPG. I gotta play this fucking game, you know. So I played it, and then you can only control the guy. The girl isn't a playable character. She's barely there, and the battle system is like, what the fuck am I doing here, you know? So I gave up. Officially, I don't like Vagrant Story. A lot of people know that already. That's why I don't get a lot of questions about Vagrant Story, because people know I don't like the game. But I respect the story a lot. Yasumi Matsuno, one of the best fucking writers in JRPG history. You know, but this game, I couldn't get into it. And I tried. It's not a game like... What was I talking about? Skies of Arcadia. Right, okay, you know, I couldn't get into Skies of Arcadia. That's bullshit, you know. I just left the game. Too many random encounters. I gave up. But I will go back to it. But Vagrant Story, I don't want to go back to it. I'll never go back to it. I don't care. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Story, fantastic. Girl, fantastic. Matsuno, fantastic. But everything else was like... Just no. No. You know what, it's just my main problem. Some of you deserve an explanation. What's my problem with it? Well, I've explained my problem in several videos before, but I will explain again. Maybe I'll do a Vagrant Story rant. Welcome to Vagrant Story rant. Okay, I don't like it when you have to decide, and I had the same problem with Front Mission 3. Okay, it's like, I'm supposed to hit a specific part of the body of my enemy, and it's up to me to figure out which part is the best one in order to defeat the enemy. I don't like that. Like, why can't I just hit the fucking enemy anywhere and succeed? And if it's hard, don't worry, I'll figure it out. I'll attack from a different place, or I don't know, I'll grind. I'll change my strategy, whatever. But it's like, you gotta beat this guy and you gotta hit his leg. If you hit the arms or the head, it's not gonna work. This is not gonna work if you hit the head. How does that make any fucking... No, you gotta hit the fucking thighs. You gotta hit the guy's fucking dick. That will work. That makes perfect sense, right? Hit the fucking cock and you win. Where's that game? Why wasn't that a feature in Vagrant Story? Hit everyone's dick, you know, and you succeed. But when there's a robot, okay, so maybe the head, maybe the part where there's like a... I'm sorry, I don't like Vagrant Story. I can't get into that battle system. It's fucking ass to me. That's my Vagrant Story rant. I'll never go back to Vagrant Story. I know I'm missing out on a great story. I know I fucking love Yasumi Matsuno writing, but I don't care. If your gameplay is like, you know, there's this other game called, what was the name? On the Nintendo DS by a Canadian studio. It had a really good story, great music, you know, but the battle system was ass. What was the name of it? Fuck. Sigil. Something Sigil. Blade Sigil? Was it Blade Sigil? Blade of Sigil? Sigil of Blade? Come on, guys. You know, I'm pretty sure there's someone out there who knows. Nintendo... Black Sigil, thanks! Black Sigil. Saying great fucking ideas. Everything was fucking great, but the battle system ruined it. Fucking ruined it. Vagrant Story is the same for me. Like, I hate that battle system. That's my rant. Yeah, it's weird. The character design is weird on Vagrant Story, but that's PlayStation 1 graphics for you. I mean, polygons, deformed thing. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I kind of like it. I kind of like it, you know. But yeah, that wasn't my problem. Everything in Vagrant Story was good, you know. Okay, everything in Vagrant Story was either great or I didn't care about it. You know, it's just the battle system. I don't like it. And on top of it all, you have no party members. Like I wanted that sexy, hot-looking girl to be playable, to be my party member or something. But no, the entire game is just this fucking douchebag, shirtless douchebag. You know, the end. That's the end of my rant. But if it ever gets a remake, no, because it's gonna be by Square Enix, and now the protagonist is gonna be gay, the girl is gonna be black now, and the antagonist is gonna be some fucking non-binary transsexual, and there's gonna be like type A, and then no fucking way. I used to love Miss America. Well, I fucking hate them nowadays. Just like I hate Atlus West. Vagrant Story is so advanced on its time, bro. You had to be that actually guy, Ron Blade, didn't you? Like, actually, the story in Vagrant Story was ahead of its time, yeah. Didn't you just hear me say that I have no problems with the story, that was fucking great, that I love Yasumi Matsuno, and no. It's like, play the fucking game, even if you hate it because the story is so advanced and ahead of its time. And if you don't want to play it because of that, fuck you. Fuck me, I guess. Renewing my subscription. Thanks, Yum Yum, for renewing your membership. Thanks a bunch, buddy. No, Donsk. No. Don't even compare Vagrant Story with The Last Remnant. The Last Remnant rant, that's a universe of a difference between both rants. Okay, The Last Remnant is a game that pisses me off badly. Not the same. I don't like the battle system in Vagrant Story, but I don't fucking hate it. You know, no, not the same. And Mega Man X Command Mission is a good game. It gets a lot of shit. It's an okay game. You know, actually I think it's a great game. You know, it's not that great though. It's still like an 8 out of 10, maybe 7.8. I think I gave it an 8, and that's it. You know, I like it. I've stood up for that game. You know, I think I reviewed the game at. Didn't I made a video called Top 10 Incredibly Overlooked RPGs. Mega Man X Command Mission was there, you know, and I reviewed it. It's a good game. It just isn't that great, you know, but it's a great game. Bro has a thing against black people. No, I don't. I have a thing against evil fucking corporations forcing political bullshit on people and on entertainment. I have a big fucking problem with that. But gay people, black people, I'm fucking Mexican, man. Sure, I'm white, but I'm only white in color. I'm not white, I'm not a fucking Aryan. You know, dude. I don't give a shit about color, gender. I don't give a rat's ass about that. You know. Yeah, I know, Jordan. It's fucking insulting. Exactly. Exactly. Pandering isn't diversity. Exactly. The Last Remnant. I don't want to talk about The Last Remnant. Top 10 black waifus list. Kairon, how's that pronounced? Her name from Sakura Wars, So Long My Love. I love her rant about poverty, and they play around that the Harlem situation that happened in real life. You know, that's in Sakura Wars 5. I like her because she has a lot of personality and that. She has attitude, man. I love her because of that. She has this attitude that I love. Fran from Final Fantasy 12. I mean, not 100% black because she's some kind of weird race with rabbit ears and I don't know. But I like Fran, but she was kind of like the cold, hard bitch. I kind of like her because of that, you know, but she was like cold, hard bitch. Fran from Final Fantasy 12. Love her. Weren't we talking about Yuko from Persona 3? Anyway. Are you guys ready for the Q&A? The Versus episode? Will there be another sequel of the game out in the mind of Yoko Taro? I want more Yoko Taro. Even that guy, even Yoko Taro is inclusive. Not for the sake of politics, but because the guy's just fucked up and likes that. He's into that shit, you know? We're not gonna talk about furries. Mega Man Battle Network, I played the first one, couldn't get into it, but I haven't given up on the franchise. Everybody's a fucking victim nowadays. White, black, gay, straight, everybody's fucking victim, man. Is there a JRPG with a black protagonist? I don't know. I don't know. There are no black people in Japan, man. What do you expect? Well, wait. Xenoblade Chronicles X? I mean, your protagonist is a customizable protagonist, of course. But isn't the female lead in that game like black? Elma? What's her name? I don't know. Isn't she black? So there you go. Elma. There you go. Don't come here and say, oh no, Japanese developers aren't that. Like, fuck it, man. Fuck yourself. Forspoken. Versus episode. Let's move on. Hugo, isn't that like based on an Indian character? Not necessarily black. He's in black. He's not black. If he's black, then half of my country's... Fuck it, man. We gotta do the Versus episode. Alright, well, this is a very hard episode. I know a lot of you will get some issues with it, because there are some die-hard fans out there. I kinda know which of these games is going to win, which is my pick, you know, but there's a lot of die-hards of the other game. It's one of those games that are held in such a high regard. I mean, like, people love this game, and if you mess with it, they grab their pitchforks. So we got Persona 3 versus Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Any version. Can be these two versions. Original versions. Remasters. Can be this remastered version of Nocturne. Can be that remake if you want to. Preferably if you play the originals, it's better. But if you didn't, that's fine. If that's the only version of Persona 3 you've played, that's fine. If this is the only version of Shin Megami Tensei, well, this is basically the same game, you know? It's just a remaster, you know? Same. It's fucking hard. I know that. You already know my answer, of course. Initially, the idea was to put Nocturne against something that would lose for me, because I want Nocturne to be the winner. But here, you know, Persona 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, so Persona 3, any version, versus SMT 3 Nocturne. Any version. If you think Persona 3 is gonna win out of popularity, think twice. Start poll. You see a genocide. I see the same. Take your time, people. Pretty much, Kevin. But not really. Persona 3 Reload is not my pick. My pick is Persona 3 original version. Not this politicized... It's still an awesome game. Like one of the best remakes ever. Too bad Atlus fucked up the localization on purpose. Look at the poll, I mean, wow. Where are all those Nocturne defenders? Persona 3 Portable counts. If that's the version you played, it counts. Yeah. I was just wondering the same thing the other day, Miguel Angel. Same. There's a beat 'em up on PS3 with RPG elements based on Saint Seiya. It did come out of Japan, but to date, I still don't understand why there isn't a Saint Seiya turn-based RPG or action or whatever, you know. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Just dropped the hardest versus yet. I know. Since last night, I was like, it's gotta be Nocturne. It's gotta be Shin Megami. I got on a win, man. I was like, Nocturne. I don't give a shit. Nothing else. Nocturne. It's gotta be Nocturne versus something. Because I've been meaning to put Nocturne up to something, you know, against something, you know, for months. But I just couldn't think of anything. And then I saw Persona 3 and I was like, no, it's like Shin Megami Tensei versus Shin Megami Tensei. No. But then this morning I was like, you know what? Motherfuckers are gonna have a hard time deciding which game is the best one. Ah ha 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 ha. So there you go. Praetor says Nocturne is my pick. Masterpiece of a game in every way. Replaying the remaster on hard was even more fun. So you're giving priority because of the difficulty. Original Persona 3 version is just as hard, let me tell you that. Because you couldn't control your party members. Shin's RPG says Nocturne for me because personally I hate those social link stuff. It's a waste of time. Okay. SMT3 because of Nocturne because of its more mature story and straightforward story. Difficulty is a pain, but it's tolerable. Okay. Jordan Young, however, says Persona 3 barely edges Nocturne out there because of, again, impact. Persona started a trend that led to Persona going from spin-off to a flagship, so its importance cannot be overstated. SMT3 was just a game. Yum Yum says I cannot say on both games because I haven't played them. Awesome. You need to play them to be able to vote. Okay, Kevin's argument is a work in progress. I'll wait. Persona 3 features Dante for demo. No, I don't think so. That's your argument? Persona 3 doesn't feature Dante from Devil May Cry, so Nocturne wins? What? What are you talking about, Jordan? What dragon? What are you talking about? I was like reading your comment, like, what the fuck are you talking about? What dragon? Tyson says, Persona 3 because I am not a fan of random battles, and I prefer story and character-driven games. It has more gameplay variety, not just battles, but I like the battle system and graphics more in Shin Megami Tensei 3. Okay. Nice argument. I mean it. Alright, Kevin. Kevin says, I fucking love Nocturne. It put SMT on the map for the West alongside bringing great classics like Digital Devil Saga, Raido Kusunoha, Strange Journey, etc. And the way it introduced the press turn system flipped the turn-based genre on its head. But, and this is a huge but, Persona 3 means so fucking much to me. So, which is your pick, man? Persona 3 or SMT 3? I'm assuming Persona 3 despite what you said? Oh, chasing the dragon means following a trend. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was like, what dragon? And then you said FE. So I was like, Fire Emblem? Dragon? What? Okay, gotcha. Chasing the dragon means changing the trend. Okay. Wait, did I miss something? Oh, Aristos is just writing his... Smiling Dog says, I'll go for SMT 3 Nocturne because despite of how hard it could be, I still love it. The soundtrack is pretty good and the roots are quite interesting to come back for a replay once again. Okay. Okay, part 1, Aristos, I'll wait for part 2. Okay, so... Is that all? Is that all? Those are all your parts? No more parts? Just 2 parts? Persona 3 is a league of its own, I agree with that. Okay, Kevin, so you... Any RPGs you know are not very good but keep getting drawn back to? Vermilion? For you? Uh-huh. Yeah, I have some. We were just talking about Mega Man X Command Mission. You're gonna make a better argument, our project. Mystery Kid says, I prefer Persona 3. It was my first Persona game. The life sim aspect of the game was new at the time for me and was interesting, and the battle system was okay. And I also stay away from SMT because they say it's hard. It is hard. But Persona 3 was just as hard. The original version, at least. Okay, so let's go. I'll read that. Aristos says, wow, that's easy. Persona 3 is so much better. I don't like Shin Megami Tensei 3 dungeons and the encounter rate. Also, Persona 3 has better story for my opinion, much better music and better graphics. And I also like it a bit better, the characters from the mystery that has Persona 3 and the plot twist. Oh, that plot twist, yeah. Kevin continues saying, Persona 3, on top of having the better story that manages to talk about death and being grateful for the life you have in such a mature way, while also introducing the one more system, paved its way for success that literally Hashino, the current series director, said that Persona 3 was Atlus's magnum opus at the time. It is. I agree with that. I agree with Hashino. Persona 3 is still winning. I'm not surprised, but not by much. Nocturne is such an iconic game amongst fans. You know what I believe? Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is what Chrono Trigger is for Shin Megami Tensei fans. Yeah, it's that one game that they put on a golden platinum platter, and if you say anything bad about it, God help you, bro. I'm still salty as fuck about Matador. Yeah, I am. Who isn't? Anthony says, I love Persona 3. It gives me the real-life experience of a student combined with fantasy elements. Balance between light and dark story. Great soundtrack, great graphics. Quite new, player-friendly. Couldn't agree more. Persona 3 really has Elizabeth. Elizabeth has been there since the FES version. A few more minutes and I'll start my own argument. Though you already know which one I'm gonna pick. This should have been 3 versus 5, huh? But I think I want to put Persona... No, I want to put Shin Megami Tensei... Initially this was going to be Shin Megami Tensei 5 versus Persona 3, not Nocturne. But I want to put Shin Megami Tensei 5 versus something else in the future. Thank goodness Persona 1 didn't get released in Europe. You should be grateful for that. That's a terrible game. I believe Nocturne has a lot of fans. You're right, Persona 3 is more famous and popular, but Nocturne is like a lot of fans, man. Shin Megami Tensei 5, no. Persona 3, no. Persona 8 SMT main saga. It's just more popular, that's all. October 2 is best? Why? Why is it October 2 best? What's happening in October 2? I agree with that. Shin's RPGs. That's interesting, yeah. The guy, you know, with the tattoos and shit, you know, he looks kind of dark and yeah. Oh, fun gameplay is happening in October 2. That's great, man. The Persona 3 is the best JRPG you've played. Says Happy Emulator Game. Well, no one else is gonna vote? Who else? Isra CC says, I pick Shin Megami Tensei 3. I really like the setting of the Persona games, but the social link stuff made me feel so fucking overwhelmed by the fact that I will be nearly impossible to 100% without a guide. Didn't like that feeling and it ruined my first playthrough. Okay. That's what made me give up in Tactics Ogre, Jahir. I still made it all the way to the final stages, you know, but I never beat it. So few votes? Well, the poll has only been up for like 10 minutes, I think. 15 minutes. Probably a lot of people didn't play Nocturne. And maybe I'm just voting Persona for popularity. Exactly, Tyson. I agree, but these guys like their 100%, their trophies and stuff. But I agree with you. I don't care about 100%. October 2 is great, bro. So there's a game called October 2? Thank you, Shin's RPGs. I bet $5 Eric will pick Shin Megami Tensei 3. Nocturne for the win. Vote! Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Do I have that video? I need that fucking video. I don't think I have it here though. Probably not. Why didn't I think of that? I don't think it's here in my computer. Probably in the hard drive. Anyway. Yeah, it's not here. But when I edit the video, these for my second channel, I'll add the commercial. The vote Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne video. It's a funny video. Thanks for the donation, buddy. Alright, the poll is over. Obviously, Persona 3 won with 60%, Nocturne lost with 40%. Though I get the feeling this only happened because Persona is simply the most popular series. I thought more Nocturne fans will show up to defend Nocturne, considering how big of a deal the game is to them, but they weren't watching this stream apparently. Persona is always gonna win against anything, you know. But I really want to talk about both games and compare them because they are both a big deal to me. I picked Persona 3 too, of course, not because Persona is more popular. I actually prefer Shin Megami Tensei as a series way more over the Persona series. But in this particular case, I picked one of my favorite games of all time, which is Persona 3. Trust me, if this was Persona 5 or 4 versus Nocturne, I will pick Nocturne. Believe it or not. But I want to put Persona 3 up to something, and that something was Nocturne. It made sense because those two games were like the two RPGs from the Mega Tensei series that threw the series into worldwide success. Without these two games, most of the games will stay in Japan. Would have stayed in Japan. We wouldn't have gotten anything. These two games were a big deal in the PlayStation 2. They needed to succeed so we could keep getting the others. You know, that's what made me put these two against each other. That's the two things that they have in common. They belong to the same series, technically speaking, and they were both the responsible for launching the series into commercial success. And we already know Persona went overboard, right? So why do I feel like Persona 3 is the better game? Well, simply because in terms of story, I am like most of you, maybe not most of you, like a lot of you, like I prefer story-driven and character-driven RPGs than a game with multiple routes and endings that is Nocturne. There's no character development in there. You have no party members except the monsters, the demons, and they don't talk. So the story in Nocturne is killer. I fucking love it, you know, but I'm more leaning towards a game where I can get a lot of development and a lot of different points of view and perspectives and stuff like that. And what can I say? It's the school simulation I don't give a shit about. But the social simulation, I like that. I like that in video games, not in all of them. I'm glad Nocturne doesn't have that, actually. But I like that. You know, I kind of like the fact that it's an addicting gameplay mechanic, you know, to answer things, you know, to make decisions and stuff like that, and to choose your waifu, you know. I'm not gonna lie, I love that mechanic. But I'm glad that mechanic wasn't in Nocturne because it takes all of the seriousness away. So I think, I'll be completely honest with you guys, you know, I like my story-driven and character-driven RPGs in video games, but if there was an anime series, there is an anime series, or I think it's a movie based on Persona 3, but if there wasn't like an anime show, I will prefer Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne because I like the story more. But I give preference to that, you know, Persona 3. So in terms of gameplay, this is overly addicting. Someone was saying there's no random encounters. That's also a big deal to me. The encounter rate in Nocturne is fucked up. It's fucked up, you know, and that's one of the game's biggest flaws. The encounter rate. You get into battle so often, you know, especially in the original version. In the remaster is the same, but there's a merciful mode where you can considerably reduce the encounter rate, which makes it more playable. But my problem is that the dungeons in Shin Megami Tensei 3 are insane. That almost ruined my playthrough of it. I beat the game and I love it. I'm not sure if I'll ever go back to it. I probably will because the game's so freaking awesome, you know. But it's just having to deal with those labyrinths, those dead ends, those puzzles, man, those rooms and locked doors and whatever, you know. I hated that. Persona 3 doesn't have that. Simple as that. Enough said. You know, music, I prefer the one in Nocturne. I think it's, oh my god, I think it's Shoji Meguro's best soundtrack. Sure, I love the soundtrack in Persona 3, 4, and 5, but it's just god tier in 3. I love the soundtrack of Persona 3. That's my favorite soundtrack from Shoji Meguro. Problem is, it's so metal. There's more metal, maybe more jazz and blues as well in there, you know, here and there, you know, but it's more metal, more rock, more hard rock, while Persona is more rap, hip-hop, and nothing against those genres, but I prefer rock music, you know me. So, I love the soundtrack in Persona 3, but Nocturne wins for me. And in terms of graphics, they are on the same level, you know, they came around the same time. I think Nocturne is like 2 years before Persona 3. They look beautiful in both games. I really like them. I don't think I can choose which type of graphics I like more, but I think the waifus are better in Persona 3. Finally, the battle system is amazing in both games. The original Persona 3 kind of sucks because you can't control your party members, but you can in the PSP version, you can in the remake, and it's fucking amazing in the remake. So this is where I have a problem. This is where I think the comparison is unfair. If I'm only comparing the original PlayStation 2 versions, I think I prefer the battle system in here because you can control all 4 of your party members, and it has the press turn system, which is also kind of here as well. It's just different, but I prefer this. I prefer the battle system here. However, this versus the battle system in the remake, I think it's a tie. I can't decide. I just love the press turn system in Nocturne. I love it. But I guess I'm sticking with Persona 3 simply because it's just not nowhere near as hard and grindy as Nocturne. That's my only argument because both battle systems are fucking fantastic. Anyway, so overall, Persona 3 wins. I wouldn't say by a landslide, but it wins a bit more. It's someone was saying that the game is fucking special to them. It's so fucking special to me too. So I love it. I love Aigis. I love everything about her. I love the story and characters. I love the personality of the game. To me, this is the best Persona game ever made. So what else can I say? Nocturne, respect, huge fan, but I'm sticking with Persona 3. That's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this Versus episode with your friends. See you next time. Thank you for watching, everybody. You know I do the Versus episodes to end the Q&A as well, so thanks a bunch, everybody, for showing up, for participating, for voting. Special thanks to the people who made donations today. Appreciate that. You keeping these Q&As alive, and you're helping this channel stay on YouTube. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. It's just this battle theme started playing, and I feel uncomfortable leaving now. This is an awesome battle theme, awesome soundtrack, Soul Trigger.